So China has a secret spaceplane. This whole project has been under wraps, so we don't really know much details about it, but what we do know is that it spent 8 months in space and it just came back to Earth. And it leaves us wondering with the main question: is this an indication that the space race is very much still on? So what is a spaceplane? The words spaceplane might make you think of the NASA space shuttle, where it launches into space like a rocket, but then it comes back down like an airplane. And if that's what you're thinking, you're spot on. But most spaceplanes today are small and don't have any actual crew members. Now, China's spaceplane is designed to where it can fly in both Earth's atmosphere and in space. But their spaceplanes are reusable, and anything related to space that's reusable is huge, just because it makes future missions so much cheaper and more flexible. So what do we know about China's spaceplane? Well, honestly, not much. They've kept it a complete secret. So much so that space experts are just making educated guesses as to what it's for. We do know that it spent 268 days in space, but we have no idea what it was doing up there. In fact, China hasn't disclosed the purpose of the mission, they haven't shared any images, they haven't even shared the name of the spacecraft. So yeah, this is very much a secret for some reason. We do know that they had a similar mission in 2020 and 2022, so this might be connected to those. And analysts from other countries actually tracked this spacecraft just to see if they could learn anything. And so far, people believe that this spaceplane released a small satellite into orbit. And again, since we have no information to go off of, we're kind of just left guessing as to why. Maybe they're testing new technologies, or maybe it's for surveillance, who knows. One important thing to note is that as space exploration gains more and more traction, I think most everyone is under the impression that it's simply for learning, but that's not really the case anymore. Sure, it helps us learn about space itself, but countries that have access to space have a huge advantage. They can do lots of good or bad, depending on what their strategic goals are. And if there is military reasons behind the spaceplane, then it actually might end up being a national security threat. The US is right up there in the conversation too. The US has a spaceplane called the X-37B. It's been on 7 missions so far, with the longest mission lasting over 900 days. And just like China's spaceplane, we have very little info on what the US is doing up there either. What we do know is that China is aware of the US technologies, and they're making their way to meet that same level of technological advancement. For now, the US is still the leading space power, but I don't think China is far behind. So why does this matter? Well, these things have serious implications for global security. I don't want to go too far on a limb here, but just historically speaking, wars used to be fought on land until planes came around. Then, wars relied on planes and fighter jets, and if space was also to be weaponized at any point, it probably wouldn't take long before these spacecraft are just armed, and they can attack any country on the planet in just minutes. Again, this is just me thinking about the absolute worst case scenario, but I think it's always important to look ahead, and with things like space travel and war and technology, things will always be improving to new levels. As always, like and subscribe for more updates.